We have to be, careful and respect the authenticity of the universe. And in many regards, what's already been created gives us a lot to work with. But we've also been able to have fun adding to it. And I think the biggest advantage that this game gets, because it's Gearbox Software building it, is we're not settling. Like a lot of games based on licenses, they become kind of work-for-hire projects, just milking a franchise. When Gearbox works in other people's space, it's because we love that space and we want to. When you think about a video game manifestation of the Aliens franchise, of course, you imagine, the big action scenes in Aliens, but you also think about the suspense and tension and these kind of thrilling moments that you get in the first film, Alien, or even in Alien 3. And one of the neat advantages we have in the video game is that we're not kind of confined to this 90-minute single-themed kind of storytelling presentation. We get to kind of navigate through a number of different types of tension and pacing, and we get to play with that suspense, and then we get to transition into action and kind of mingle around those areas and play with what your expectations are as you go through it. But it's kind of fun, to be able to kind of do those scares and those suspense moments and have them kind of result in different points that break the tension. You break the tension in different ways, and sometimes you condition the customer, the player, with a certain pattern, and then you tweak the pattern with a surprise. And it's a lot of fun to do that, and that's, I think, one of the joys of being a designer, is trying to get into the headspace of a player and manipulate that for the purposes of entertainment, for the purposes of generating feelings. Before there was any business done, the very first thing that happened was Brian Martell, who's one of the owners of Gearbox, one of my partners, who's the director of Aliens, Colonial Marines. In 2006, I think, he sat down with Ridley Scott. And Ridley got out his original storyboards from Alien, blew the dust off of them. And a lot of people don't know this, but he's a talented artist. He draws his own storyboards. So Ridley Scott drew all these storyboards, and he's flipping through this storyboard book that he hasn't probably looked at in 15 years, with Brian. And they're talking about the universe, and Brian's getting the secrets of the space jockey and all this stuff. And Brian's thinking about how to scratch an itch that he's always had about the fantasy we wished we could have experienced that takes place after Aliens. And we never really got that itch scratch. And Ridley, meanwhile, was, his headspace was all about the universe that he created and what kind of conditions for mankind and the way we started to explore the universe and the way politics and corporations kind of mingle to kind of lead to a universe like Aliens. And that's where Ridley's headspace was. And I came out of that, and not only did we get the kind of seed that sprouted this project, but I think that's also the moment that was the seed that sprouted what became Prometheus, which is Ridley's upcoming film in the universe that kind of uses the universe at a time period before the events in Alien. And what an awesome thing, right? Like, I will never forgive Brian to this day for the fact that I wasn't a part of that meeting. One of the exciting things about Aliens Colonial Marines is it's this awesome, narrative campaign that you can play alone or cooperatively, but there's also the promise that we have in the franchise of the competitive game. The thrill of endless battles of, Colonial Marines versus these xenomorphs, and the idea that as a human player, I can get online and I can actually become a xenomorph on that enemy team and play as the xenomorphs. And this is really thrilling. The asymmetrical gameplay is really cool, and we don't get a lot of examples of asymmetrical gameplay with AAA shooters. Usually there's a single enemy that is really equal to the friendly team. If you play a Call of Duty, they're humans. There's a single enemy type. Then everybody's using the same weapons and has basically the same skill development in terms of the competitive balance and the real equal kind of competitive balance. But with Xenos and Colonial Marines, they're totally different. I mean, the Xenos, you play them from the third-person point of view. It's not even an FPS game when you play the Xenos. It's the third-person game. And you climb on walls and ceilings, and you can see everything because you can sense, you know where all your allies are. You have perfect situational awareness. You can smell or see or sense the enemies so you can see everything, and it's a whole different ball of wax, you know. And I think the last really good asymmetrical game that I recall is Left 4 Dead, and certainly, you know, we have a lot of fun playing Left 4 Dead, and it's been awesome to kind of see how they push that forward, and we've been able to build off of that, and, you know, certainly learn some lessons from what those guys did up there at Valve, and that's been really valuable too. But what's neat about it is when you have a competitive game, you know, we want engagement beyond just the fun of each round, you know, so there's a metagame to it. There is growth in your identity, growth, and you'll unlock, you know, new weapons, new modifications to weapons, new things for your character. There's a whole host of things that develop as you play the game that you can unlock through your accomplishments. And one of the decisions we made that's really neat is that you'll also have this meta growth in the campaign game, and it's interchangeable. So if you want to consume the campaign game first, you're not losing time in your growth path in the competitive game. And if you play a lot of time in the competitive game, you'll actually have some growth that'll kind of work as an advantage for you when you consume the narrative game, the campaign game. And this is a really cool decision to make the meta game kind of mingle between the competitive and the campaign game, because now you don't have to feel like you're losing any time in your growth. Everything you're doing contributes to the chance of growth and moving forward. It's not Borderlands, it's not a huge role-playing game, but the metagame engagement is there, and we wanted it to be simple enough to be accessible to a whole range of gamer types that we think will be interested in Aliens, from even gamers that maybe don't play a lot of games but they love the franchise, and so they're going to come into it because, wow, here's finally I get to play Aliens, right? So we wanted to make it really accessible, but we wanted it deep enough so that engagement, it can become a hobby, and that engagement will drive us over time. So it's been a lot of fun to find that balance. Nintendo's Wii U is going to come out soon, and we're really excited about this platform because when we got briefed on it, and, you know, I got to play with it and I got my hands on the controls, I was like, wow, this is the best controller I've ever had from Nintendo for a hardcore first-person shooter. Like, it's of all the control. I mean, forget about the Wii U or the Wii. Just go. It's the best, like, shooter controller I've ever played with from Nintendo. So we're really excited that the platform is coming, and we're really excited that we're able to bring our game to it. The Wii U is a next-generation system. It is coming now. It isn't even out yet, and we've had our 360s and our PS3s for a while. So it's natural that it's a very powerful system. Now, it's up to Nintendo to talk about their system, and they haven't revealed all of their details yet, but so far we've been thrilled with it, and it's pretty clear to us that the best looking console version of Aliens Colonial Marines is going to be on the Wii U. Having said that, we wanted to be careful. We don't want to have completely different games, right? It is the game experience, the campaign, the competitive game, it is the same game on each platform. So if you love the 360, you don't have to worry. Like, you're fine. You're going to get the game experience that's on the PS3 and on the Wii U. If you love your PS3, you're getting the full game experience. Now, the Wii U is a more powerful machine, so if you're one of those early adopter types and you've got the disposable income to buy a new console right now, you know, maybe that's something you want to look at for this game. It does have the added advantage of this new controller, which has a touchscreen built into it, and that gives us some interface options that just don't exist, that just aren't possible on the other platforms. Like, the most obvious one, of course, is a motion tracker. So, like, I'm playing the game and maybe I'm going through one of those suspenseful kind of sections, and all of a sudden, and I realize the sound is actually coming from the controller, and I look down and it's a motion tracker in my hand, and an actual motion tracker in the controller, and it's motion sensitive too. So, like, I can scan the room by, like, moving the controller. It's pretty cool, and that's just one of many kind of uses of this device. Now, Nintendo hasn't revealed much about their online plans yet, and we certainly are dependent upon their platform. But to the extent that their platform offers the online functionality that you kind of expect, and that they'll discuss in due course, you want to feel confident that if I get the Wii U version of the game, I'm going to be able to get online and have that competitive game as well. And of course, that's got to be a part of it. Otherwise, it would feel unnatural for us to commit such an effort to this game on that platform. So it'll be really nice to get online, and I'll tell you, it's kind of cool too. When I'm playing competitive, sometimes I like to look at the score while I'm playing, but I hate having to cover the screen with an overlay. Well, guess what? I can look down at the Wii U screen and keep, if I want to keep the score there or whatever, I can keep it down there and just have a glance and not worry about overlays or sub-menus or things like that for that. So it's kind of neat. Aliens Colonial Marines is coming to the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3, Windows PC, and the upcoming Nintendo Wii U platform. And we will be announcing a launch date very, very soon. It's imminent. So check out gearboxsoftware.com. Check out Sega's Aliens Colonial Marines website, and it won't be long before the release date is finally announced. We're right there, and I can taste it.
What the hell is going on? You okay?
Explosive decompression on the Sulaco.